Welcome to this BTV Right Now update. I'm John Locke. Here's a preview of a couple of the stories we're working on for our next episode of Bridgewater this week. You've heard by now about the two Wheaton Terriers who have stolen the community's heart. It's been just over 3 months now since Marcy and Maury's disappearance, but the Woodward family remains hopeful that they'll find their way home soon.
And I'm not giving up because there's no reason to give up.
I really don't think that they would leave each other. If I had to speculate, I would think that one of them was hurt, and the other one is staying by and won't leave the other one's side, or that someone has them and maybe they just don't know.
There will be no questions asked. If my dogs are still out there, to please return them. You can leave them on my deck, or you can call any one of us. I am offering a $5,000 reward for the safe return of both dogs. Please, if anybody sees them, please tell them to go home, because I really miss my Maury and Marcy. If anybody does find their collars, a bright orange and a bright green collar with our phone numbers on them, please call me, because I need closure and I need to know.
And the Woodwards are asking you to check your barns, sheds, any place Marcy and Maury might take cover. A psychic also told them the dogs might be in a green outbuilding. Since they're currently in survival mode, the Woodwards are asking you not to chase them. You can call them at the numbers on your screen, and we'll have more on this on Bridgewater this week. Also coming up on the next edition of the program, we'll introduce you to the group that is trying to stop the rising number of opioid overdose deaths.
We are now going out to the state levels to do outreach in communities, to do education, to teach people about addiction, to educate people, and essentially what our motto is that we envision a world where there are fewer deaths from addiction. Mm-hmm. Ultimately we would like to see no deaths from addiction, but we're trying to do what we can to help this epidemic.
We'll have more on these stories coming up on Bridgewater this week, later this week on Channel 9, and anytime, anywhere online at btvaccess.com. And speaking of our website, you may have noticed some changes to it. We've made it a little more accessible for you, and you can watch Channel 9 live anywhere, anytime. We also have our Twitter page on the side of the screen to help you stay updated on the local sports and news happening around town. And a new item on the website is the weather, which is connected to the Weather Underground Network. Again, all this and much more on btvaccess.com. And you can see this program on the website as well, which features weather, and the weather forecast continues to show above average temperatures. Jeff Fowler has more. And Jeff, will we ever see snow again, or can we finally put the shovels away?
Well, John, there's no major storms in the cards for this week. Winter's not over yet. We will still have some snowflakes in the forecast, but this afternoon it is finally drying out. We've had quite a bit of rainfall over the weekend. Temperatures now settling in the 40s. By the way, today we debut our official BTV weather station. You can get this data directly on the Weather Underground Network and also at our website at btvaccess.com for information for right here in your backyard in Bridgewater. Winds right now have shifted out to the northwest. They're also eventually shifting to the southwest by the end of the day. That's important. We'll tell you why in just a moment. It still feels like the low 40s out there. Not a bad day at all. We had a sunrise this morning at 6:43 a.m. and we set at 5:13 this evening. Let's look at the temperatures across the region. We can see we are still in the low 40s here. Boston down towards Bridgewater, Providence, in New York City. We've cooled to the 30s off to the north and west where our weather typically comes from. But this week it's going to be coming from the south, and we have temperatures in the 40s and eventually 50s down the coastline. Here's that stubborn front that has been with us all weekend long, right into this morning. We had quite a bit of rainfall, generally 1 to 2 inches across the region. We thought that might happen, and sure enough it did. And as we look at the regional picture, we can see it's still been raining this morning across parts of the Cape and the islands. That's now all settling out to sea, and we'll have a little bit of a break here for the next 24 to 36 hours. But again, it's a digging pattern. We have a trough digging in the west. That means there's a ridge here in the east with mild conditions up and down the eastern seaboard. And so as we get to the weekend, that'll start to flatten out a little bit. But again, that real cold air is locked up in Canada and will be there at least for another, I'd say, week to 10 days. Eventually, we will see some of that head back into our region. But for now, we enjoy the break, I guess, here as we go through the middle of February. Hard to believe. All right, bus stop here on Tuesday morning as you head out the door. 7 a.m. Temperatures generally in the 20s will feel like the teens. And as you head home, we'll have highs in the low 30s. But it's wall-to-wall sunshine for your Tuesday. As we look the week ahead, We may have a few flurries here overnight, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. Not really a big deal if they happen at all. And as you can see, highs on Wednesday approaching 50 degrees. So any flurries that we do have will be long gone. No excuses to head out there for your Valentine's dinners. Weather should be fine. We may have a couple of showers here Thursday morning, maybe some steadier showers here by Friday afternoon. But other than that, it is on the mild side for February and pretty good weather.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Looking at your health today, and it may be difficult to get the kids moving this time of the year, especially when the weather isn't cooperating. But during the Olympics, Cleveland Clinic's Dr. Kim Giuliano says parents can channel the energy of the game to get their children active, even if it's indoors.
Create little competitions for kids. So see how many jumping jacks they can do in a minute, how many push-ups or sit-ups they can do in a given amount of time. They can compete with themselves, their siblings, or their friends.
Enrolling your child in a sports program or activity is great during winter months, but if it's not in the budget, Dr. Giuliano suggests using a little imagination to turn your home into a mini Olympics. She says a strip of tape on the floor can mimic a balance beam, or a blanket on the ground can become a tumbling mat. And according to Dr. Giuliano, childhood obesity can lead to serious medical problems later on in life, so it's essential to make sure that children are getting the exercise they need year-round. Children of all ages are supposed to get at least 1 hour of activity each day, and research shows that building a foundation of daily exercise early in life can help them later on too.
Children who are active will become more active adolescents and then in turn become more active adults. It's really about creating those healthy habits, and that desire to move is really going to stick with them for the long run.
Dr. Giuliano says the easiest way to get your child moving is to lead by example. She says it's important for parents to put down the electronics and model active behavior for their children. Thank you for watching this BTV Right Now update. I'm John Luck.